Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another casted game for Age of Empires 4, and guess what? We have got access to the new civilizations again. We have got Demulsim representing Team Liquid in green on the west side of the map as the Malians, and in the southeast, in teal, we've got Krakady here playing as the Chinese. Could be an interesting matchup on Dry Arabia. Now, what's pretty cool about this matchup is that the Malians, just from my testing and looking at things, they can be a little bit prone to early aggression because of the fact that they invest, of course, their wood into pit mines and also their houses around their gold veins, because of course these pit mines are boosted by the fact that their houses or the mining camps are around them. It boosts the amount of gold that comes in as a trickle, and so as you can imagine, with early aggressive civs, this could be a little bit prone to being attacked, and we might end up seeing that because the Chinese can be aggressive with Barbican drop. I wonder whether that's something that Krakady has thought about and is maybe looking to do. We'll see how this matchup unfolds, but what often happens is if you leave the Malians a little bit alone to do their thing, they can become very, very strong in the mid to late feudal age. And of course in the castle ages we see some sheep being brought back home for Demulsim. Going to be keeping that food income nice and rolling and ticking over. And I will be breaking down these videos later on to look at the build orders for these civilizations that are being played. So that's going to be super exciting and interesting. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the castle games and the new DLC content I've brought to you so far. But we are on Dry Arabia today. And let's take a look at the Chinese and what Krakady is up to here, because he does have 8 villages on food. Double scout was the opening for Krakady. He does seem to like that. And, well, holy moly, he has got a lot of sheep there. So maybe paying dividends there to get that second scout and the extra sheep. 10 of them. And he's got most of the scouting done. Most of the map scouted. Demulsim opting for the one scout for now, and we see the villages being pulled forward. Demulsim sees it as well, so... Oh, actually, I thought they might be pulled forward, but they're actually going for the wood line for now, and that makes sense. I want to get that wood line. He's not up to get to the next stage just yet. In fact, he may have actually opted to. I think these were going forward, to be fair. I probably called it right the first time. And he kind of feigned it to make it look like he was going for the wood, even though he's got this wood line here close by. I think Demulsim will be wise to the ruse, though, as he now circumvents back. You'll see where those villagers go. Exactly. I think he knows about it, so it's good scouting here for Demulsim. He's going to be expecting it, but can he do much about it? That is the question. Will he look to drop a blacksmith, or sorry, not blacksmith, but a barracks of his own? He's going to go up to the next stage, in fact, with the Mansa Quarry. Maybe we're looking to get an archer range on the back of that. And the Mansa Quarry, a nice landmark for the Malians, generates 75 gold per minute, can be toggled to generate stone instead, should he wish to. But now, of course, he sees the villagers. The villagers have got one thing on their mind. They're carrying those wood, going forward to see where he could drop the Barbican. It's obviously going to be around here. Might be right up against the houses, actually. That'd be interesting. In fact, no, he puts it back a little bit more defensive, actually. That's a bit surprising. He should be... I would have thought... I'm a bit surprised he's not going further forward, I have to say. Because a Barbican of the Sun there changes everything. It denies the gold vein completely for now. A bit of a surprising choice to go for the Barbican of the Sun a little bit further away. But in any case, it is what it is. And it is the case that Demulsim does have this gold vein in the south, and that's where he sends a villager. He preempts the problems that might be coming, and he sends a villager there already. But a bit surprising not to see the Barbican of the Sun there, because this could be defendable as a position. It does drop it now. It does deny this gold, though, to be fair, at least, so it's a nice spot. We'll be losing one house. And don't forget, the houses for the Malians are a little bit cheaper. So just bear that in consideration, because, of course, losing a house isn't as drastically bad, but of course losing anything at this stage of the game is not ideal. Wood investment that's gone. Second house does go down, and the gold trickle will be less for here for Demulsim as well, as he does actually go for a stable instead of an archery range. Going to go for some of the warrior scouts out there to try and protect this position. Of course, there are no spearmen, so be happy to do that. Quite a few idols there back at home. Does now transition to wood. Does have an Imperial Fisher, of course, from the beginning parts of the game to supervise the mill, boosting the amount of food that's going on there. So the gold income for Krakady has ceased. It's stopped at 100. So he's looking to be aggressive in the feudal age, just transitioning to food and wood units only, I suspect, from here. And I wonder what happened to those villagers here. Did they get pulled back? I'm a bit surprised if they did, because in fact they're just fighting. They're burning down the houses. So quite a lot of idle time. I'm not sure if it's actually worth it at this point. It'd be interesting to do the math on that, because you will be denying the gold trickle a little bit, but there's a lot of idle time in these villages, 6 of them. Typically you can generate about 40 resources per minute with villagers, so if they've been idle for 2 minutes, that's almost up to about 500 resources. That's a lot to kind of miss out on. One house on fire. Will Demulsim pull out a villager to repair? Possibly. We see more warrior scouts coming out, and these villagers are going to be exposed. They're going to have to go towards the gold vein there, and that's actually a nice spot there to gather that gold. What remains to be seen is, will it be a Song Dynasty out of Crackety here? I suspect so, because it's not, it's quite heavy on food. I suspect it's going to be a Song Dynasty play into feudal age pressure. We now see some more warrior scouts pop it out of the town centre, or the stable rather, actually. And the house does go down in the end, but the pit mine is still live and kicking. Do you see a barracks going down for some spears now? He sees the warrior scouts, but the issue is that the mobility for the warrior scouts will help Demulsim for sure, as the village does come out now to start building houses up again on that pit mine, and I don't believe that Crackety is aware of this situation here in the south. He indeed isn't. We see an archer range coming out now for Demulsim. We're going to be going for a mixed armor composition as we expect in Age of Empires 4. Alright, looks like Crackety is getting towards that Song Dynasty. Crackety just investing in that wheelbarrow. It's taking down the foundations of one house. Now going to try and focus on the other two, but there is an archer there, so Crackety has to head back. The spears kind of really countered here at this point, so he might need to stop producing those. Maybe look to get some horsemen on of his own, but we're going to see a cow boom coming out of the Malians played by Demulsim. We see a cattle ranch and the cattle heading towards there. So the cattle can be, I guess, produced from the mills. They cost 100 gold, take 15 seconds to train, and they can actually garrison inside these cattle ranches, which actually means that the cattle that I kind of garrison in there will generate gold, generate food, 28 food per minute, which is quite nice passive income there. Not requiring population space to obviously gather that, but does take a bit of a gold investment from the beginning. See a couple of warrior scouts just trying to harass the villagers, but the town centre and cannons will be doing great work against those scouts. I mean, these are pretty tanky, as we said. Actually absorbing quite a bit of shots. I might lose one scout. Oh, actually, that's pretty nifty. Look at that. Demulsim with a big brain play there. He's keeping the scout out of the range, or he's keeping that one in front at least, and takes a bit of damage. Just annoying his opponent a little bit. There is the Song Dynasty now for the Chinese. The cattle ranch boom, the cow boom really starting to go underway here for Demulsim as he opts to go for another mill on the deer patch there on the back of his base. Now things have settled down quite somewhat, and looks like possibly Crackety does have a position to have a proxy base. We shall see if he decides to do that or not. It's a bit risky though, because if you are pushed back, then there's a lot of wood investment in production buildings that is wiped out if that happens. And so we're going to head in, maybe take that scout out. Does indeed get the kill. A couple of archers do damage some of the spearmen, but definitely worth it, worth the trade. Interestingly enough, Demulsim going for the gold mining upgrade, so it's really going to have a lot of gold. That's what the Malians are really orientated around as a civilization. A couple of IOs now, Imperial officials out for Crackety. 3 in total. Getting Imperial examinations as well. That will help with the gold income coming up for the Imperial official. Doubles the amount of carry capacity, I believe, for the Imperial officials. Means less trips are needed. Double barracks is the play for Demulsim. Maybe looking to get some of those Musafadi warriors out there. We shall see. Alright, in the north, it is a proxy base. It's going to be a stable and archer range and barracks. Crackety going for one of each. Going to go for a mixed army composition. Going to push away some of the archers and try and siege down this pit mine, which will go down eventually, but there's quite a bit of reinforcements going to be coming out for the defender's advantage. 2 barracks and an archery range. The Muslim Zico looking solid here. Maybe looking to get up to the castle age behind this. It does not... He's not too worried about the feudal age push, and it's actually quite interesting to play this, to kind of conceptually think about this. So the Malians in this position kind of expect the Chinese to boom up a little bit, at least with the Song Dynasty, and so it feels probably a bit more comfortable going up to the castle age. Often if you go to the castle age a bit too early, it does leave yourself a bit prone to feudal age push, especially if it's a strong one. But it feels like Demulsim is quite happy here to go up to the next stage and not expecting huge amounts of field aggression anytime soon, and is going to go up to the next stage with the Grand Fulani Coral, where nearby cattle provide 20 food per minute, so it's going to have a lot of food income coming in and gold income. This is where the Malians kind of come into their own, having huge amounts of food income with the cattle boom, but also with the passive gold income coming from the Mansa Quarry and also the golden pit mines. The bonuses that they get. So the Malians do seem to be quite a strong civilization. It'd be interesting to see how they fare up in the Red Bull Wololo Legacy. Make no mistake, I'm sure we'll see it in that main event. We see another archery age coming down for Krakody. This is a bit of a concern for Krakody because I'm not sure if he scouted out the castle age, and once he hears about it, which he does now, probably going to be a little bit worried because he doesn't necessarily have the standing army in the feudal age to defend this proxy base, and if that gets taken out, that's a lot of wood investment. We discussed it earlier how it can be very exposed, and if you lose this this kind of wood investment, it's not easy to replace, especially when your opponent is pumping out units, which I suspect is going to happen pretty soon. There's the feudal age pressure coming in for Krakody though. He knows he has to do some damage, going to take out one cattle. To be fair, this food can still be harvested, still 500 food on that cattle, so not the end of the world though. It's not even that far from the mill ultimately, so Krakody takes a fight though. Takes it against the hardened Donso. We'll take a decent trade there, Krakody, but it won't be enough to stem the flow because what's coming out here now will be a lot of units for the Muslim, I suspect. Not utilising the barracks at the moment. The Muslim under a bit of pressure, doesn't clear this up, does have a couple of archers though. Wow, a lot of barracks coming down for Krakody. Krakody is going to the castle age with the astronomical clock tower. Looks like he's going to go for the palace guards. Now, one thing to note that is very interesting for the Malians is that they do not get crossbow. So they really have to opt for going for example, the Musafadi warriors, if they so wish to, kind of go against the highly armored units. And so, because these Musafadi warriors are anti-armor specialists and they're pretty damn good at it as well, especially when they get their stealth mode involved. Palace guards are no slouches, and there's the new age, there's the castle age for Krakody here. Now, will we see a push coming in for Demulsim? I suspect so, because we talked about it before. When you age up, that can be sometimes when you're at the most vulnerable. We saw it here for Demulsim when he did age up to the castle age. Krakody got a bit of value here on the southwest. Got a bit of value. And now it might be the turn of Demulsim to push. Will he just ignore the proxy base? Quite possibly so. So now opts to take down this southern golden pit. No, it looks like he's going to secure these gold patches actually. Probably quite important because he's missing out on his tertiary gold there being taken by Krakody. I suppose this technically is secondary gold, second closest gold vein. He did opt for this one earlier in the game, of course, but the walls are coming up for Krakody. He wants to protect his economy, and those are very extensive walls. The trouble for palisades is that they're very easily to burn down. And unless you have the mobility to protect those positions if you're under pressure, that can become a problem. Now, the palace guards aren't the slowest of units, so not necessarily a bad approach there. A couple of villagers coming out to that front wood line. The Muslim looking up to wall up as well. Going to protect the gold eco berries as well. Nice walls there. Siege engineering coming for Demulsim, so that kind of illustrates the mindset or the kind of plan ahead. He looks like he's going to get some rams on the field. That's exactly what he does. He gets some sofa as well, veteran sofa. A halfway house between a horseman and a knight, many would say. A couple of javelin throws as well. Another ram coming out. So this is the problem for Krakody. He needs army, he needs it fast because he's going to be pressured in this proxy base, and there's a lot of wood investment here, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 production buildings, 8 times 150. It's a lot. Over 1,000 resources pumped into those buildings, and they are possibly going to be pressured off here. It does mean the reinforcements coming in for Krakody will be on hand to join the fight quickly. Going to head in with 2 rams to Muslim. With the veteran sofa, going to snap out one of the archers. Palace guards engage against the spears, or the Donso rather. Palace Guards trying to wrap around to get towards the veteran javelin throwers and the archers. They do so, they're getting good value, but the Suffer head back, and the Rams now are free to take down the Barbican. This is a fight that Crackety just can't win, and Demulsim cleans this up, and this is where this is going to become a very, very snowbally game, you feel. Crackety under pressure, going to lose his forward base. And the melee units for Demulsim might just torch down the Barbican and the Sun, and if that happens, that is going to be bad news for Crackety. He's going to try and take down the Rams with the Palace Guards. Might be able to get one just about, but if he does, he's going to lose a couple of Palace Guards anyway. Now behind this, we can see Demulsim reclaiming old territory, getting that gold vein back. And now the Barbican and Sun will go down soon. Just a matter of time. In the south, though, Crackety is aware of this, might send some units there, but the trouble for him is he doesn't have the production capabilities really. He's having a hard transition to farms as well, and that's not ideal in this situation when you're trying to be aggressive and being pushed. A farm transition not coming at a great time for Crackety, but doesn't have all that much more option, it seems. Well, he does have some berries there that he could be taking, but he's opting for the farming transition. And that's a concern because he's being pressured here. This will buy him some time. It'll take some time for Demulsim to get hold of this position and push us back. But he will get there slowly with the 2 Rams at least, and the reinforcements coming in. Veteran archers doing good work here. Now he does have access to poisoned arrows in the castle age. This is incredibly strong technology, but very expensive with 500 gold as a cost. There's a couple of archers do wrap around on that wood line. We'll get some value, but the villagers just take the fight and take out the archer. And in the south, that scout just working on that pit mine. Not a bad play there, slowly taking that out. The gold trickle from that will be coming to an end for Demulsim. Tell you what else is coming to an end. Going to be these production buildings for Crackety. He's going to have to invest a lot more wood into the production buildings back at home. Does have the ability to supervise the buildings if he so wishes to. That's a lot of wood. And don't forget, he's short on wood already because he's obviously making this hard transition to farming economy. Couple of Palace Guards wrapping around on the west side. Demulsim just booming up ahead here. He's got a lot of food coming in. You can see the food income here, pretty crazy for Demulsim. It's all idled, as in it's all passive. Well, most of it anyway. Not all of it actually. There's quite a few villages here, 24 of them, but a significant proportion is passive income. Of course, Crackety having to have that hard farming transition. Relics are coming in for Demulsim now. Not sure if he has any just yet. None so far, but he's going to slowly work to pick them up. Certainly going to help his position as those Palace Guards are now getting some value, trying to take down the cattle ranches, but the veteran surfer are popping out to try and take the fight, and they'll do a decent job. Villagers here going to be taken out on the food. Does look like he has textiles though, so they won't be going down too quickly. Palace Guards aren't really the best raiding unit. They can do a job. They can tank a lot of arrow fire, but the veteran surfer will be taking them out. And just quite a bit of idle time caused there, to be fair. It would be helpful for Crackety to try and survive a bit longer for now and boom up. There is a window of opportunity if he goes to the super late game, you feel, for the Chinese. That's really where they want to head in as a direction for Age of Empires 4 competitive online games. They want to try and push games to that Imperial Age. But Imperial Age seems to be a very, very distant prospect, especially with this army heading forward. 63 military for Demulsim, only 14 for Crackety. He's trying to get the walls up on the west side now. Going to need to get those walls fast because the army is starting to head forward and the production is ramping up. Look at the economy for Demulsim. It's an incredible amount of food and gold he has. Might be even looking to get to the Imperial Age himself. I take that back. He's just spent a lot of gold. Most likely on the veteran suffer. Actually, these are warrior scouts coming out. In any case, the south is being pressurized by Crackety. The trouble is that Demulsim will be aware of that, and now he could possibly look to try and push on the north. Stonewall's coming out in the north for Crackety, trying to minimize the angles of attack for the Malians here today. You see now villages being pulled out forward. Where are they going? That is the question. Possibly into gold. It's to stone actually. Looks like stone walls are going to be on the menu for the Malians today as well, as the gold vein is now released in the south. What's interesting, of course, as you know, he did have a pit mine there. Demulsim doesn't even extract any gold from it, of course. It is an infinite source of gold for the Malians. The army numbers now starting to catch up a little bit for Krakeny, but you just feel it's not happening quick enough because 72 Malian army units are heading towards the base of the Chinese today. With the Rams coming in now, outpost going to be too little too late. That's going to be taken down possibly in one shot. That is indeed the case. Krakeny trying to break through in the south, and villagers might be pulled to build some walls. We shall see. There aren't any villagers nearby though. Where are they? Oh, there they are. There they are. Building some stone walls. That's going to be nice for the protection. The trouble for Krakeny is not getting value with his army. But I can tell you what, Demulsim will be getting value very soon with his army. Krakeny going to have to try and push down in this eastern point now. Does have a nest of bees, but the trouble for Krakeny is his army is now out of position. Split into two, has a defensive force, but not enough here to really kind of hold this push. Woodline has been exposed and demolished. Villagers aren't gathering wood there anymore. Here comes the big fight in the center, and it just feels like the army units here for Demulsim just completely outnumbering. Half of the army of Krakeny aren't here. They're a big offensive. They're not getting too much value. Like, I'm not entirely sure where they are. They're just chilling out there. They're not doing too much, not able to, because now Krakeny is having to micro back at home. 22 minutes into the game. This could be the end for Krakeny. We'll have to see. Demulsim pushing in hard. There's a lot of units here. The fireworks show from the nest of bees, and the Rams do take out the village. That's going to be a problem for Krakeny. It means he won't be able to replenish the population all that quickly. That is a concern. Not that he has that many population anyway, and now the army is dwindling for Krakeny. Might lose the nest of bees as well. Archers in behind with the veteran Sofa and some veteran Donso going to be taking those out, and the economy is super exposed for the Chinese now. Imperial Age going to be coming in. Fort of the Huntress coming out for the Malians. Again, the army here for Krakeny not getting any value. Stone walls popping out. Villagers going to defend that position. This is a concern. I'm interested to see where that landmark is actually going to be placed. It's going to be placed here on those two gold veins to protect that area. The Fort of the Huntress. In any case, let's take a look at the front because that's where the main action is. There's the Imperial Age. This Fort of the Huntress does act as a keep. Infantry units heal by nearby heal. Well, sorry, they enter stealth for 10 seconds. So this also does have the ability to mean that the Musafadi warriors and the Musafadi gunners have the first strike when they break stealth, which really does pack a punch. We've seen it in my testing of the versus videos I've got on the YouTube channel. It is pretty impressive. As we see now, the economy being raided here on the farms. Does get taken care of. The palace guards on hand to defend. Now, Krakeny has held this off a little bit. The army numbers is actually better for Krakeny. He's actually pushing back a little bit on the food count, but there is a keep here defensively for Demulsim. He looks to be nicely safe and secured. And whilst Krakeny will do some eco damage, it's probably not going to be enough because Demulsim has the Imperial Age, and when these become Imperial Age units, that's going to be incredibly difficult for Krakeny to deal with. You can see the Musafadi warriors going to make short work of the Imperial Palace Guards. Not the Imperial Palace Guards, just the Palace Guards for the Chinese there. Bit of idle time on the food economy for Demulsim, but not too bad. And now going to the Imperial Age does mean the tech advantage is there for Demulsim. But Krakeny holds on for now. Rather impressively so, but the army numbers are now dwindling. He lost the force on the front, of course, kind of had to dive in underneath the keep, trying to get as much damage as he could, but feel like it was a bit of a throwaway of the army there. Had to do something though. Now another group of army coming in for Demulsim, could be heading forward. Things have quietened down a little bit now. Population count looking pretty healthy though for Krakeny. 96 villagers, of course, courtesy of that Song dynasty. Interestingly enough, it is a one town centre play for Demulsim as well. One town centre versus the Chinese Song dynasty. Stonewall's coming in the south now for Demulsim, going to be securing a bit more map control. Now units can be heading towards the palisades. There it is, 29 army on each side. The village count is certainly in the way of the Chinese, and looks like Krakeny might be forcing us to the late game, and that'd be pretty important for him to do. Of course, that's where the Chinese kind of shine, but the problem for Krakeny is that he's facing up against the Malians Imperial Age. STB is going to get off a little bit of fireworks. And the veterans Sofa there as well, and the palace guards. Oh, and the STB does go down. Palace guards going to mop up what's left, but feels like Demulsim's quite happy to take the trade. The veteran archers do have poisoned arrows as well, so the poisoned arrows are really strong. If you've seen the versus video, you see it that I have on the series, how good they are. You see now the units getting buffed there a little bit. Freeman leadership, movement speed increased by the nearby Sofa. The movement speed has now come in for Demulsim's infantry. More stone walls coming out for Demulsim, securing even more map control in the middle. Head-on fight here, but the trouble for Krakody is still in the castle age. He has to do damage, he has to win the castle age, you feel. Demulsim, huge amounts of army now. Krakody actually has 0 military on the field. This is not looking great for the Chinese. 33 military on the field for Demulsim, and now it comes another push. The trouble for Krakody is he has just now been keep dropped on this gold rather. That's going to be even more gold coming in for the Malians, and Krakody doing well to keep up. And we'll be going with the Imperial Palace, maybe looking for a Fire Lancer play here to try and go for a landmark victory. You feel like it might be the only win condition he has actually. Trouble for him is that palisade walls are in the way here, stone walls in the south. Palisade walls won't be too much of a problem. Demulsim going towards this gold vein now, and that is huge. Gold income nice and secure for Demulsim, and he probably has a lot of relics as well. Has 3 of them at least, maybe more. Actually, he has 5. He has all the relics, he has all the control, and he has all the gold. The Yuan dynasty is now in play for the Chinese. So you see palace guards coming forward with a nest of bees. Not too sure what these Imperial officials are up to. Imperial officials maybe using... I'm not sure where they're going. They head back, they realise they're out of position. They didn't get the memo. Well, they got the wrong one at least. Another village being taken down. Sacred site being camped in the north. Maybe looking to seize those opportunities to get even more gold for the Malians. But the army numbers really starting to build up here for Demulsim. Bit of exposed wood eco, and that's an issue for Krakody. I don't think he actually has a safe wood line. He has one forward here. No, it doesn't really have much safe wood, has to be said. But it just have to be pulled away there. There's absolutely no wood in this map for Krakody on the back. It's all forward. This is the wood he's relied on in the past. He's going to struggle for wood. He's going to struggle more than just for wood, because now the army coming in for the Malians, 76 of them, can head forward. It's split formation. Concerned about maybe some of those Mr. Bs there. But these are elite Sofa now, and they're going to be doing a lot of raiding damage, and of course Krakody still in the castle age. Big push. You feel like this is the definitive fight. The spears do get him at the top of those Sofa. That's not ideal. The archers are behind with poisoned arrows. These are elite archers as well. A couple of Nesta Bees doing some good damage. The Krakody holding his own for now, but there's a lot of raiding damage coming in. Look at this. A couple of Sofa have been split up, I think. And yeah, they're taking a couple of eco damages there. Nesta Bees do get taken out. At least one, and now the second. Demulsim does lose a lot of army, but he's happy to. He's got the map control. He's got a better economy, and to be honest at this point, this is probably the beginning of the end, because the Imperial Age units just proving to be a little bit too much for the Chinese Castle Age units. The veteran Sofa are now raiding villages, and now the villager count is now dropping down to 105 for Krakody. Still more than what the Malians have, but the key big difference is the army count. 60 for Demulsim. In fact, actually there's 6 relics spawned on this map, it seems. And the Imam there for Demulsim picking up that relic, and this is mayhem in the base of the Chinese. A lot of idle economy, you have to say. Taking out the farming transition as well, but it's just going down on the farms. That is a bad news for the food income for Krakody. Still does have 1,300 food income per minute, but I think that she needs a bit of time to update. That is dwindling now, as you can see, as we see more units being flooded in for the Malians. The pressure continues for the Malians. Not much that Krakody can do really about this, because trouble for Krakody Where is he getting wood? That is the big question. Must be getting it somewhere. There it is. So there's forward position. Whether that runs out, that'll be the end of the game. Full map control from the Malians here today. The Sofa head in against the Palace Guards. Numbers really start to build up. 61 military versus 50, and I'm not sure Crackety's going to be able to keep up. 81 population, total population. He's dwindling. Villager count now down to 70, and the push is unstoppable here, you feel, for the Malians. Heading forward with another group of Sofa coming in, and Elite Donso added into the mix. The Villagers on Gold going to be going down next, as the Palace Guards are not enough in numbers to defend. Now the farming here, completely exposed villagers will be going down, and Crackety will be struggling from this point onwards. You get the feeling that the GG, the White Tower, will be put in any second now. As the villagers on the farm go down, mining camp goes down, is burnt down to the ground. And the economy for the Chinese, for Crackety, in tatters. The Chinese civilization overrun by the Malians today. In this preview build of the Age of Empires 4 New Civilizations, and there it is, Crackety does end up tapping out, and Demulsim and his Malians triumphant over the Chinese. And I hope you guys enjoyed this casted game, and if you did, do think about giving the video a thumbs up, and if you want to see more Age of Empires 4 content, do click the right hand card screen now for more casted games. Take care, and see you next time.